Hey guys, how's it going? Previously on the channel, we were working on this 1969 Cub Cadet 105. This is the Cub Cadet 105. We pulled apart before because we were having an ignition problem with it. It was not going. It would run just fine if you could get it to start up and drive, but for whatever reason, it's hard to get it to go. It'll try to take off on its own, but for whatever reason, it just can't take off on its own. We pulled it apart. The valves were out of adjustment. Somebody has definitely been in that engine. They rebuilt it or did something to it. Maybe they just changed the rings and honed out that cylinder. And, well, actually, it looks like it had it looked like it had new seals in it. I pulled it apart and we looked in there. Everything looked fine all the way up to... And I've started to question the rebuild that they did on this thing because when I pulled it apart, the tappets appeared to have been swapped around. The intake tappet was under the exhaust set at 8 thousandths. The intake tappet was on the exhaust valve. Wait a second. The exhaust intake was on the intake side for the intake valve, set at 18 thousandths, 17 thousandths, whichever one. The intake tappet was on the exhaust side, set at 8 thousandths. So I had a suspicion after that, either somebody just messed up the adjustment and that was it, or someone pulled the cam, pulled the tappets, swapped the tappets around, got it wrong, and I'm starting to wonder if that's why they parked this machine. So I'm starting to wonder, judging by that, one thing that I didn't check when I pulled the engine apart originally, when I pulled the head off of it, was I never checked the valves. At least I don't remember checking the valves to see if they were seating or not. Everything in there looked fine, so I left it alone. One thing I should have done was tried to turn the valves and see. The intake valve has me questioning it because when you're watching it, you start seeing fuel come out the intake. You see stuff start coming out the intake. One thing that has me questioning, though, is I noticed it when we had the engine apart, and I said something about it, but I just said we'll keep it on the back burner, and, well, if we have more problems with it in the future, we'll take a look at that in another project, in another video. The piston starts coming up as the valve is still closing, which brings me to the suspicion of wondering if it's out of time. I checked it on a different engine that I have, and it did the exact same thing, all except for not nearly as bad as this one. So I'm thinking it's probably one or two teeth off. I don't know which way. It can't be that far off because it does run. And when it runs great. And I'm pretty sure the valves are sealing because you can hear it try to take off, and I don't think that if the valves weren't seating, it would try to take off like that. We adjusted the points. I did that off camera. I adjusted the points more just to play with it and see if I could get it to go. I opened them up as far as they would go, and I got it to start wanting to go backwards. So that's my suspicion right now. I'm starting to wonder if the engine, just like I said, is timed wrong. Somebody obviously pulled this thing apart. I have no doubt about that. So I think what we are going to do today is we are going to pull the oil pan off of it. We're going to pull the engine. We're going to pull the oil pan off of it. I want to check that and find out what they did. We're going to... How many times have I said take the oil pan off? We're going to check, just see what they did, see how far out of time it is. We'll probably end up having to take that head back off, which is no big deal. We got to take all that stuff off anyway to get the engine out. So I think that's where we're at for right now. And then if we have to, we'll pull the front of it off, the flywheel and the bearing plate. Hopefully, if we don't have to pull the bearing plate off, I don't want to, because I really hate messing with those, because you got to put the correct amount of shims in, and you got to check the end play, and it's just a big pain in the ass. It's easier if somebody else does it. So that's where we're at for right now. Let's just go on ahead and let's get into this thing. We got to pull the Little cover off right there, that little shroud that's full of the holes. And after we get that taken off, we'll pull the, not really much else to take off there. Actually, we got to pull the hood off of there. And once we get the hood off and the voltage regulator and everything else, we can take the bolts out, unhook the drive shaft, and pull the engine. That should be it for the most part. So let me go on ahead. I'll put you guys in the stand, and we'll go at it from there. Hopefully, this will fix our problem. We have a motorized chair now. It'll go 60 miles per hour, let's say, give or take. All right, well, that's in. It's out. But yeah, right there. This thing is true American steel, so it might be. It's not. Get in there and we'll stick it off to the side. Put this back on. What do we want to do first? Do we want to go on ahead and pull the head back off, or do we want to pull the gas tank? Pull the gas tank off and we can do it a little bit. And if I remember right, it's these two up front. And there's two nuts underneath. I think that is. Let me know if you guys like that view or if you want to be over here next to me instead. We're going to try a different view today, just to see what I think of it and what you guys think of it too. All right, come on. I like having the camera up on the table, but the table tends to shake and rattle, and conveniently the camera bounces around, so what fun. Those should move. There we go. There's one. There's two. Come on. A little more persuasion. Oh, we're stuck on that. Duh. I didn't realize we were stuck on that little. There shouldn't be any gas left in here. We might leak a little. There we go. Can off. Whatever it is, like that. There we go. It's gonna leak for a bit. And then those three, these two. I really don't want to take the head back off. I really don't think there's a reason to. But the more I look at it, you know, I sit here and I keep on thinking, why don't we just go on ahead and take it off? That way, if we have to, we can take the piston out through it, because more than likely it's going to have to come out. You know, it's kind of my thought process right now. And if that, oh, we're missing a bolt. And if the engine's not out of time, then something's not right. See. Yeah, almost had all three of them in there. We're still, yeah, we're missing one. And I think it fell underneath this cover. That one was fairly loose. 2. Those 2 go there. There it is, I found it. Yeah, it's right there. Like I thought it was. Can we get it out? Yes, we can. There we go. Let me make sure you guys can see everything. Probably just go on ahead and pull this one. I need a tray or something to hold it. Oh, we're using this. That's the only thing about when it comes to working on this stuff is you run out of trays quick. I got that engine sitting behind me. I got another one over there that I'm working on too. And you run out of trays really quick when you got, you know, this many projects going on. And I got another one over there I gotta decide what I'm gonna do with at the moment. Which I actually think I know what I'm gonna do with it. That's more than likely gonna turn into an engine rebuild as well. Set that off to the side. That don't turn very easy, does it? Oh, well, it doesn't help. Yeah, that don't help at all. This has to come off here anyway, in order to get this cover off, probably. That flywheel looks really, really small. Yeah. Still in the deciding phase of what I want to do. If I want to pull the head back off or not. Which it seems like we are at the moment. It looks fine. I'm also wondering if I want to put this engine back in there or find a 10 horse for it. We could go upstairs and go through my 10 horse. We could go through my engine hoard. I know I have a couple of 10 horse. I do have a 10 horse upstairs that's in fairly good shape. It needs a piston and it needs a crank, but I think I have a crank upstairs for it. We'll keep that one in mind, but let's go on ahead and just move forward with this one. Because I have the perfect tractor for this engine. And I mean the perfect tractor for this engine to go in. I could drop it in right now. I'm tempted to drop it in right now, actually. You know what? Let's pull the head. Let's just pull the head off of it. I want to check the valves. That might be what it is. Them all should be fairly clean because we just had this off not too long ago. And I went through them all with a tap, and I went over all these with a die. So they all should come off. The only thing I didn't tap or die was the spark plug because I don't think I have a tap for one of those. I might have a tap for one of those. That socket doesn't seem like it's going on to the bolt all that well. For the most part already loose. Yeah, it's just them three left. The head gasket's fine. I'm not going to change it. I know somebody will say otherwise, but it's fine. We'll just crush it down a little bit tighter. No, it doesn't turn. No, that don't turn either. The piston still looks good. It looks like it's tried to fire off a couple of times. It doesn't show on this head, but it has tried to fire. I know we heard it. Yeah, I can see it on the, yeah, it's tried to fire. That piston feels fairly wet, and it's not oily either. It feels like gas. Yeah, I don't think we're flooding. So we could take that out of the equation. That valve looks like it's closed. That valve looks like it's closed. Let me just find out what cycle we're on. We're in the compression stroke. That don't turn. That valve doesn't turn. Yeah, they're both seating like they should. I don't see any light around either of them. Piston's still fairly tight, which is good. Head gasket might be stuck. Maybe not. Just gonna say if it is, we'll just leave it alone. That might not have been a good idea. Man, I can't believe we're back into the stupid thing. No, that was a different size. Yeah. That's a half inch. So. Well, we know it's loose. Let me bring you guys over here because you're going to need to be on this side. These were 7/16, correct? There we go. There's one down below. I'm going to run through everything with a tap. That's held in there by a bolt. I figured that would have had a nut. Okay. That's the same, I think it's the same bolt that holds the crank on too, or the flywheel on. Sure it is. Looks pretty good. There we go. That looks like the same flywheel is what the interesting. Definitely looks like the same flywheel, but it looks small. Which is interesting. Maybe it's the shroud because it doesn't have the thing over here for a starter. Yeah, actually that's true. And it doesn't dip down for the ring gear. That could be exactly what it is. Does that say JD? No. I thought it said JD on it. I was going to say this has met a John Deere at some point in its life before I end it. Can we keep it like that? What was that noise? Oh no. There's something in here. Well, let's see. K301. Yeah, it says it right there what it is. That might be the governor that I'm hearing. But if that's the governor, why is it sound like it not? Why is it not so hard? You know what I wonder? I wonder if it's a what's it called? A piece of a, I wonder if there's balance gears in there, and that's a piece of one of them that had come loose. Very well, it could be what it is. There's definitely something in there for sure, though. What exactly, I don't know. I heard it, though, so I know, I know for a fact there's something or another, a foreign object inside my engine. Where's that? Not getting there. That was violent. I want to pull that bolt out of there and oil it some. That way that generator moves a little bit easier than it did. Oh, we can bend that up out of the way. That'll be fun. I was going to say that's going to have to move when we lay it down on its side. There we go. 9/16 is what all of those should be. What do you guys think we're going to find? I'm kind of nervous. What's this? What's that for? There's not one on the other side either. None of my other ones have that. No. That's the same oil pan. That doesn't have it on there either. That's interesting. This right here, that's what can you guys see it? No, I'll show you guys once we get the oil pan off. There we go. Oil pan looks okay. There is no oil in it, by the way. I drained all of it out. If you're wondering. That one looks corroded. Oh, good. I'm surprised that impact didn't loosen that. That wasn't too bad. That didn't look too bad. That didn't look bad at all. So far, the bolts we've pulled out have looked good. That's stuck. That's been on there for a while. Just go ahead and see. I heard that. Did you guys hear that? What was that? Oh. Oh, wow. And that's not the dipstick, because right there's the dipstick. Oh my. We have balance gears. Listen. Hear that? That balance gear is no good. That's done. That's going to grenade my block. We got to get that out of there. Look at how clean that oil pan is. Look at how clean that is. It's got a little bit of metal in it. It is a little bit metallic-y. But the oil that came out of this engine looked good. So it's not recent. That might be from when it was first broken in. Look at that. I bet you this is the original dipstick too. I always wondered what happened to the dipstick. Well, there's your answer. I knew I heard something in there. Oh my God. Wow. I am so glad we got that out of there. I've never seen that either through the block. That's facing the correct way. Look at how clean it is inside of there. Wow. Let me turn the flash on the camera, and we're going to go in there and do some digging. Just come in here and look at this with me. Look at how clean it is inside of here. Check the cam. How's the cam look? That cam looks great. I don't see anything wrong with that cam. Over here, whoa. Oh no, that doesn't look good. Can we see? Look at that. That does not look good. It might be okay though. Cam lobes look great. I don't see anything wrong with those cam lobes. There's a dipstick right in your face. Balance gears, those absolutely have to come out. See, that has a spot in it for those too. Just like this other one that I'm working on does. I never knew they had those in there. I always thought that the engines that were supposed to have that style of dipstick over here had them, like the 140s. Okay, so we know what we need to do now. We got to get those balance gears out. Look. So the crank has to come out regardless, whether it's in time or not. Can we won't be able to tell. Where's the timing mark at on this? This is top dead center, correct? Just about, both valves are shut. Yeah, that's top dead center. Okay, let me sit down on my bench, on my stool. Let's just take a peek. Right there's our timing mark. Right there. Right there. Can you guys see that? That is our timing mark. There's another, that's your secondary timing mark. There's two. I don't know what that one's for. There's this one too. That one right there is not it. That one is. Let's spin it around and see if they line up anymore. They now line up. Yes, they do. No, they don't. It's hard to say. It almost looks like it does. Where are we at right now? Exhaust valve is open. Intake valve is shut. Yeah, we're out of time, guys. So now what we need to do, we need to pull this off. We need to pull the bell housing. We need to pull the bearing plate off. And after we pull the bearing plate off, does this have any play? No. It's got a slight bit of back and forth. That's normal. I'm not worried one bit. I mean one bit about that. That does not concern me at all, but that is fine. It's got a little bit of back and forth, but that is absolutely perfect. So I'm not worried about that. It does not move side to side or up and down. It just goes side to side. That is fine. Okay. And when I say side to side, I mean this way. It moves that way, which is normal. I'm not worried one bit about that. Because it does need to have a little bit of end play, which that's end play. I can't believe that. That's just, wow, that's funny. Let's get this off of here. That's fine. It's got a little bit of oil left in it. That's okay. I'm not worried about it. All right, guys. Let's go on ahead and let's get the flywheel off of here. I had an idea. Let's make a flywheel puller. Let me grab. I need to make sure that these will. So my thought at first was, I wonder if I just run a bolt through here, if it'll push on this this bearing plate and push the flywheel. But then I thought, well, I wonder if it'll damage that. So then I thought about maybe we're going to drill that out one more hole. Maybe this will work. Let me drill this one more size bigger, and then we'll see if it works or not. Perfect. I'll just stick that on here. There we go. And then we'll throw a bolt. That should line up right. I hope. Here's an idea. Use a couple of old head bolts. Oh, look at that. That would work. Look at that. We got a puller. Now we just put a nut or a bolt there and thread it, and we can use it. Let me find another head bolt that would be the same. And then this is 9/16 right here. I think they're in pretty much even now. This could be fun. Ready? It works! Look at that! It works! Cool! Awesome! That is the first time I've ever used a flywheel puller. And it's the one I built. Cool. Alright, let's put that off to the side. Look at that. Yeah, see, there ain't nothing under here except for that and that. Cool. I have a flywheel puller now. Awesome. It worked. I was almost kind of surprised it didn't bend. And that bolt held up like it did, but it did pretty good. And I get told all the time I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, right. I know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, sometimes those bearings tend to hold themselves in. They don't want to come off for whatever reason. I kind of figured that's probably what happened. How many shims? Just one shim. With no gasket? Really? There is a gasket. Just one shim. And one gasket. That's all we need. I'll have to remember that. Let's get the crank out. I still can't believe that will work. See. So this, that's going to be fun to get off. I think last time I had this problem, I just stuck a rod through there and hit it out. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do again. Half inch is what those should be. If I don't have to, I'm not going to pull the piston. If I have to, I will. Oh, good. They have a nut that holds them on. I was worried it was the bolt. I don't really like the bolts. Because I've had a couple 8-horses that have had those bolts. And they tend to, over the course of time, depending how many times they've been taken out before in the past, they tend to break. Or not break, but they tend to just wear out and not want to ever go back. What do we do? That's the problem. Can we get the piston to go up any higher? Where's that hammer that I had earlier? I think we're going to have to pull that piston looking at it. Especially since it has yeah, we're going to have to because we're not going to be able to turn that crank. Oh well. Let's just go on ahead and do it. Oh, it's already out. Look at that. That looks pretty good. That looks really good, actually. That ring. I do know for a fact it didn't burn any oil. So we're going to have to keep this protected for sure. Oh, perfect. It's just a little bit curved, but I mean, that's fine. That should work. We're not going to be able to catch that crank, so hopefully it doesn't get any damage done to it. We'll just have to keep an eye on it, I guess, and make sure that nothing happens and this doesn't slip. We are hitting, no we're not. We're sliding through right now. This should come off. I think it's just going to ride right through the pulley. There it goes. Yeah, we're we're out. There we go. We got it. Awesome. I know you see it. No, those marks are not from me hitting on this. That is actually from when I cut the PTO off. That is what those are for. So I kind of missed with the angle grinder. So just ignore it. Get this crank out of here. There we go. There we go. We have now left the station. Let's get them stupid balance gears out now, since they have caused me all this trouble. They're the reason why I had to do that. I'm not sure how well you guys can see. Those are the balance gears. There's one and there's one. They have dots on them. Those are their timing marks, as you can see. I'm taking those out, so I'm not one bit worried about them. They have snap rings on them, and that's what holds them, for those of you wondering. For those of you that wonder, if I use it, I do. I don't use it all that much. Clean this side up first, and then after we clean that side up, we'll sure that we don't get the key out. Must have fell out on the table. So I was going to say, make sure that I'm sitting on the key right now. It's kind of bent, but I mean, I don't really think there's a whole lot that I can do about that. I'll just leave it alone for now. There we go. That definitely looks so much better. Let's get the other side of it. And since that bearing is on there, that might make it a little bit more difficult. So I don't want to grab onto the taper, because I usually try not to. There we go. And that's not going to be enough to grab it. I'll just grab onto that taper. Hopefully that should still wobble. Like I said, I do wish that that bearing wasn't there. That still moves. There's not really much I can do about that. There we go. That should hold it better. And that holds it nice and tight. Cool. nice that looks. That looks really good. Cool. That side looks good. This side looks good. Actually, I want to get the other side with the other one that I used. I think it's a little bit more aggressive than the pink one. Let's see. Oh, look how nice that looks. That looks good too. Now it's straight. The only problem at the moment is the key's still in there. That's the only issue. Very easy turns nice. But other than that, you know, we're pretty good, I would say. Everything looks just fine. So now that we've got our crank cleaned up, we can just go on ahead and get it ready to put back in the engine. It looks good. I do want to do some wiping on it, but look right there. That's where the rod goes. That looks pretty clean. So let's go on ahead and let's clean this up. That crank definitely looks a lot better now than it used to. Yeah, that looks 10 times better. That looks good. So I'm not worried one bit about there being any damage to that rod. So I think now what we need to do, we need to get whatever's in here out. There doesn't appear to be a whole lot. Yeah, I'm definitely glad that I caught the thing being like it was. I want to pull the cover off of the points so they're not covered. I just want to see if they open. Well, I know they open. I just want to see exactly how much. I'm trying to figure out what's going on right now. Tempted just to push that cam back in, or that crank back in for right now. Not timing it, just, you know, see. No, I don't want to do that. We're already missing a bolt here. I have another one. I do have another one of those gaskets. Let's just go on in and pull it off here. That's missing one. I wonder if it leaked. Obviously it didn't leak. I don't ever recall seeing a puddle under it. Where's that rubber mount? There it is. There we go. Whoa. Oh, that's supposed to be like that. Never mind. Let's see if these points open. I I think we just cycled all the way around and I never saw them open. Never even seen that move. It should have moved. So I wonder if that cam is the problem. Let's see if we can get this to loosen. Because, well, I don't know. It moves. I'm almost tempted. I have another engine upstairs. I have another crankshaft upstairs. Or crankshaft. I have another camshaft upstairs. I'm strongly considering going on ahead and taking this cam out. I'm wondering if that's what the problem is. However, it could have been just out of time. You know, let's grab the, let's see if, let's see what these guys say. Let's take it to 20. That's what we're looking for right now. My 20 doesn't say 20 on it anymore, so I have to guess. I guess I've used it so much. It should still be open. Should be, yeah. So I wonder, makes me wonder, was it sparking too early? What does that keep? Well, I mean, even if we ended up pulling the engine apart for no reason, we still solved two problems. I was looking at that cam gear earlier, or camshaft earlier, because it doesn't really, it almost looks like it's pretty well wore out over here. It looks okay, I guess. Both cam lobes look fine. I know that decompression's not the problem because it doesn't act like it has any problem with exhaust. It's just always the intake valve that seems to have problems. I'm wondering what that is. Nothing. I thought there was another mark. And, I thought I had seen another mark on there, but I guess I didn't. But yeah, other than, this looks pretty good in here. I'll probably end up taking this in and rinsing it out in the sink to try to clean it out and get all the shit out. Yeah, I mean, this thing looks pretty good. Let's wipe it out. Get all the crap out. I'd like to know why them points feel they need to slide over, they should be right there. More than likely, that probably wasn't the problem. The timing. Now I'm curious what it was, because I have no idea still. I hate to throw it back together now just to find out that this wasn't the issue. I'm almost tempted to pull that cam and just go on ahead and change it. Unless maybe they did put it off a tooth. Because like I said before, they did swap the tappets around. So that is a possibility. I don't think the tappets being swapped around could cause anything, and the valves are sealing. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think we've got pretty much everything out that needs to be. Yeah, I don't really see anything in here that could be in the way. Yeah, that should just pop right out if I decide to put a normal dipstick in here, which I probably won't. I'll probably just leave it alone. It is nice to know there's no balance gears in here, though. All right. So I guess I will have to get on the computer and order an oil pan gasket for it. I already have one coming, but it's for a different engine. Unless I decide to. That's true. I wonder if I should just go on ahead and remove that cam. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's video. I'm not really sure how much video I have at the moment, but I think I'm just going to go on ahead and end it here and just get this took care of and cleaned up and ready for things to be put into it. Let me know what you guys think it could have been. I did show. I'm so tempted to just drop that. Do you think that crank would be hard to put back in? We could go on ahead and just throw it back in there and see. Yeah, we could. We could line up those marks and just see what it looks like now compared to what it looked like before. That's lined up. That tooth right there. I have them lined up. Now I just need to get the piston. Or get the rod in, I mean, not piston. Should be that one. Actually, I think I'm off. No, it's that one. There we go. They are both now lined up. So let's see. Let's do some things since we have it put together now. Let's bring the piston is now all the way at the top. Both valves appear to be open the exact same distance, where I think before they didn't open at the same distance when you had it up all the way like that. I think one was open a little bit more than the other, but I can't recall what one. So, and I know both valve clearances are right. I don't think swapping tappets around would do anything to mess it up. But I don't know, I guess. You never know until you do it further. Alright guys, well, like I said, that's still all the way up at the top. Both valves are open equally now. Still here. Alright guys, well, I think it's going to do it for today's video. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. If, what else you guys think it could possibly be that's the issue with it. If you think we should swap that cam out, well, maybe we'll just go on ahead and swap that cam. We got the balance gears out, which is good. I am happy that those are finally gone. And I am glad that we got in there and caught them. I can't really think of anything else to do other than just go on ahead and start piecing it back together slowly. And just checking everything over and making sure everything goes together right. I'm not sure how far off it was. I got the points to open to the point where, or I had the points to the point where, you know, it would fire itself backwards, which didn't seem, well, I tried that on a different engine and it didn't try doing that. So I found that kind of interesting. I just had them to the point where they barely opened, where you didn't even notice it. So, interesting. All right, guys, like I said, I think that's going to do it for today. We'll just go on ahead and make another video on this. If this is your first time checking out my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It doesn't cost you guys a thing. It tells YouTube that you guys like my videos as well as myself. And, well, it makes me want to keep doing stuff like this. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for today. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to talk about, but I don't think there is. Mark, let me know if that's how your 129 that you have is, where you have to pull the front axle out in order to take the engine mounting bolts out. I think that's kind of ridiculous still. All right, with that being said, I will catch all of you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye. You know, I was thinking about it. I just now realized something. Before, I think when we first took the engine apart and looked at it, keep in mind, I think the front was still on it. I don't think we had taken the bearing plate off of it yet and checked it. I'm starting to wonder if it was in time, because before I think I got the timing marks to line up. I don't quite remember exactly, but I think they lined up just about perfectly. So, interesting. If it wasn't in time, they wouldn't have done that. It'd have been a tooth off either way. Maybe it was, and I just don't remember or didn't catch it. So I don't know. We'll have to find out once we get it put back together and get it running.